الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم إلى يوم الدين. Okay, inshallah, today we'll go through the 21st, and that starts from Surah Al-Ankabout verse 46 and then go up to Surah Al-Ahzab 30. Here is the input that everybody have provided me, and as you look at the green ones is that you guys have matched each other, and the red ones you have matched the verses that I have selected, so you can see. And as I told you, this input is valuable to me because when I go the next round, inshallah, then I can pick your verses, particularly the ones that several people have repeated here. And we have Brother Zishan. He did it the first time. It's the first time or second time? Second time? Okay, yeah. And Brother Tawfiq. Tawfiq is the first time. Yeah. Your first time.
No, the first time. I did before.
You did before? Okay. I know first or second because I have the names and then I see, I add or a change. But anyway, Jazakallah khair, it's really very great. And I said it helps everybody too. Now let's see now how did I pick the verses I picked. The first verse I picked from Surah Al-Rum. If you look to Surah Al-Rum, you find Allah subhanahu and He used this, and from among His signs are this and this and this and this and this. So there is many signs Allah subhanahu give us this so we can reflect on it, the wisdom of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But one of them, we'll probably need to look at it, and this verse 21, one of the signs, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, from one of among the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا, that Allah subhanahu have among His science, among the wisdom, the knowledge ta'ala for us of the earth, that He created for us, for yourself mates. So He created wives, and then why? لِتَسْكُنُوا لَكُمْ لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, that you basically, a sukun means you're a second, means you can take it. So you can have to become, the wife becomes to you a source of rest and comfort. And then بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, relationship, how you achieve this sukoon or this, rest and comfort through two things. One, mawadda, which is you can, it is not love, it's beyond actually love, is live affection. It's more than love. Wa rahma, and mercy. So you have this, Allah subhanahu created for you a wife or a mate, for a wife for you, with her, you have inner tranquility with her, you have, basically a rest when you go to your house, and then the relationship between you and her is mawaddatun wa rahma. If you look at this one here, so that means and she is from yourself, you are in a conflict with your own self then. In that case, so instead of, even if you really think about it, if you angry with your wife, go to a room and be angry from yourself. Just, scream at yourself rather than creating, a problem in the house, because she is from you. Now, you might look mad and stupid, but in the same time, that will be the same thing whenever you get angry and upset from your wife. So that should be a reminder that she is not stranger, she is you. And if she is you, if you hurt her, you're hurting yourself. If you comfort her, you comfort her. Disturb her, you're disturbing yourself, in this regard. And then there is, because min anfusikum, a tight relationship. And this is why the second time Allah in another talk about the messenger, that the Prophet ﷺ is from us. And from us, that means his concern is our concern, you know, and his interest is our interest. And he wants to comfort us also any difficulties unnecessarily. So in this case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said for Surah At-Tawbah, لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. It's the same thing. خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ as a relationship. So when you look to go to your wife today and just think about it. Think that she is you. You know, basically treat her like you want to be treated, like you're treating yourself. You're comforting yourself. And therefore, the Prophet ﷺ emphasized this issue relation between a man and a wife. He said, the most complete in belief, in faith, أكملكم إيمانا خلقا, the best one for his, in his character. So your belief, perfection of your belief is tied to your perfection of your character. وخلقا وخياركم, and the best of you, the best even of the best of those who have belief, who has the best character, is the best to their wife. So if you want to achieve the highest level, then you become the best for your wife. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَأَنَا خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِي, you know, I mean, the best of you is the one best for his wives, and then I am the best of my wives. And we know the account, if you look at the history of the Prophet ﷺ on the seerah, how he can treat his wife. Like when he comes out, anytime he comes in the house, ask, do you want anything for me to do? You know, and he used, you know, to basically stitch his own clothing. He used to fix the food. He used to grind the wheat, you know, and so on. So he was working all day and doesn't come to the house and said, oh, now I'm so tired. I have been working. Those guys have been, you know, burning me out. He directly worked in the house, you know. And so much of the Prophet treated him like any wife. You know, sometimes they get angry from him, they get upset from him, but he still is cool enough, never, you know, basically upset them for anything. First lesson for you, because it's easy to read the verse and go home and do nothing. But now you know that you have a big responsibility when you go home today. The second one I picked is the one I discussed before, and it's very important actually to understand what is the uniqueness about the religion of Islam. And the uniqueness about the religion of Islam, the way it was delivered to us by the Prophet ﷺ, not the way we are adding to it a lot of additions. And this is a religion which and this one is, it's a religion of the fitrah, your innate nature. And Allah subhanahu fi Surah Al-Rum tell us the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the pure religion of Allah subhanahu is the religion that consistent with your innate nature. And therefore it is just comes, this religion, all religions came in to move you away from the corruption that happened to you because of culture, because of society, because of some, you know, family, you know, customs, to bring you back to the original nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Introduced this word Hanif. The religion is a religion, Hanif religion. Hanif religion is what? Is the religion that turns you toward the pure fitrah. You know, because Hanif bend, but bend you toward your pure fitrah. The original religion, the pure religion, is a religion of the fitrah. People get invented their own things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the religion to bring you back to that level. And this is why the word Hanif is so important in this regard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ, direct your face toward the religion Hanif. Hanif, inclining to, and then we'll define. Fitrat Allah, Hanifan, inclined toward the fitrah of Allah, that He created in everyone. And the fitrah that which Allah has created. تبديلا لخلق الله. There is no change in the creation of Allah. And ذلك الدين القيم. This is the upright, or that is the upright religion. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came in so many things that, follow the religion of Ibrahim. Millata Ibrahim Hanifan. Follow the religion because he was Hanif. What does Hanif means? Now we know that he is inclined always to pure fitrah. That is why Prophet Ibrahim is the only one that we know of that he believed in Allah without receiving the revelation. Before he received the revelation, he stand against all his family, his group, all of the town community in his own. He said, yeah, I cannot believe in any of these things here. I just believed in one God. And that's what the fitrah of it. That's the fitrah, that's the nature of fitrah that we all have. And this is why, it's actually even the Prophet ﷺ will tell us that, that when a child is born, he is not born a Christian, he is born in the fitrah, that only to believe instinctively he will believe in one God, and to believe that good manners are good, decent manners are good, And when he look and see that people are doing some corruption, if you believe in one God, if you think really about it, without any religion, and you believe that there is God, created everything is one, he is one. And then naturally, you also know what is good and what's bad. And you see some people doing the bad, you come and say, wait a minute, is those bad people is going to transgress against the other just to go free? So directly there was to me a judgment. If God created this universe and control it, then who created us, then there must be accountability for anybody who does something wrong against, this, pure nature that we have, or do corruption on earth. So suddenly you believed in Allah, in basically in somebody to tell you also what Allah wants. So you believe in the messenger. And then you have to believe that somebody have to hold us, record these things for us, to hold us accountable. So suddenly believe in the age. So the only thing that in reality that fitrah would not give you is how you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the rituals. By fitrah, you will not be able to know that we have to pray, how to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we stand, how we bow, and so on. So where is when people differed, differed what? When Allah created Adam, it was a deen of the fitrah. And to come in, why people are starting getting, corruption, a group. Allah subhanahu said in this, في سورة البينة, ما تفرق الذين أوتوا الكتاب إلا من بعد ما جاءتهم. That the people of the scripture, Christian and Jews and so on, and frankly Muslim too, that falls on us, they did not differ except after a clear proof have come to them. We can always talk about them, but talk about us too. وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا الله مخلصين له حنفاء. They have not been commanded and commanded to accept Allah, being sincere to Him in the religion and inclined to the fitrah. حنفاء means inclined to your fitrah. يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وذلك دين القيم. They are basically do the prayer and give the zakah. And this is the correct religion. Is to bring you back to the pure fitrah that you have, to worship Allah alone and do things consistent with your pure fitrah, and then pray and pay zakah. So it's not that complicated of a religion. Now, why corruption happened then? And corruption happened because of what people do. And Allah subhanahu tell us البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. That corruption that you can see in the land and everybody complain about, it didn't happen because Allah decreed upon us. No, because of what the people hands have earned. And Allah let it go. لِيُذِيقَهُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي عَمِلُوا لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. Let him see, Allah will let them taste part of what they're doing. So they might return back. When they see the impact of that corruption is bad, they might go back and correct their route. قل سيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبل كان أكثرهم مشركون. And say, travel in the land and observe what was those people, what is the end of those people who did the corruption before you. And then Allah subhanahu add this, كان أكثرهم مشركون. We think sometimes that mushrik is the one who worship idols. In that context, actually, the mushrik also here is the one who basically deviate from his pure fitrah. And although he doesn't worship an idol, human ideology and people committed to it. Believe that this human create a human ideology, and we know where's communist came from, for example, whereas all of the corrupt system, system comes in, and then or you establish an authority, and this authority you consider them as the one who sets all of the rules for you, and therefore sanction corruption and sanction injustice, and this is sometimes you really wonder. When you look like in some of the our countries or countries that has an injustice, people are put in jail, But what about the guy, the jailman, the guy, the policeman is doing it, or the officer is doing it? I mean, doesn't have morality also? Government, do this because this person against them or this group is against them. They put him in jail and arrested them and deprive them from their is that implementing these rules. That's a shirk. Because you took actually an authority from somebody over the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't have to worship an idol to be a shirk, because that is that will happen in the societies, and you do it. And frankly, we see it. We see it when a person comes in and snatches somebody from his home, at the child or something. I mean, doesn't have a humanity in it? This is a natural things? Because somebody set a law that you have to do it?
Evil by nature.
Violent, but everybody's violent, And it's really amazing. It sometimes it's perplexing, of the humanity. And that's why this is where the facade comes in, It is people. And why this guy did it, No, because he has an authority over him. And if he has an authority over him, doesn't have a brain, doesn't have a heart, doesn't have emotion, So, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, and he says, وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ, whatever misfortune befalls you, it's actually because of you, because of what you have done. But if I would have, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَيَعْفُ عَنْ كَثِيرٍ, that means if I have allowed everything, the outcome of what you do happen, you probably will be so miserable. Don't get the outcome of what you do happen in this regard. And then you can see when you do this, and when this happens, when people complain, so when this corruption happens, then there is going to be basically the weakness in the whole society, in that regard. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ said, if people start cheating each other, provision. So if it will come, if people try to cheat each other, basically hardship will come. So, and this is something which Muslim do. We actually look at our societies, and we always have a reason why we are in a bad position. It's always a conspiracy theory, the Western, trying to do this and so on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say this. He said, whatever suffering you have, it's because of what you are doing. It's not, so don't keep blaming other people, just look at yourself. And I always said, and we complain, but why we're here? If our countries really are has justice and people are honest and you get treated right, will become and you find it, from education system is corrupt, the legal system is corrupt, the police system is corrupt, media system. So what is this? A prosperity and a society that Allah will bless all of these things as corrupt. So no one can hurt you except as a society, except yourself. So nobody should blame anybody else, our communities, our societies.
This is that the goodness of earth goes on man-made.
Is man-made, yes. It's if you follow your natural instinct, natural fitrah, then you will live happily, and everybody will be happy, and if nobody will be upset. Surah Luqman, you can take a lot of lessons from it, but one of them, Allah subhanahu, people sometimes come and say to Luqman, is Luqman a prophet, or he is just a righteous man? If the answer is important, Allah would have said it. So don't focus in who is Luqman. Focus on what Luqman Allah has blessed him with, and they blessed him with wisdom. So focus then how Luqman demonstrated his wisdom. That's what you have to focus on. Worrying about who is he, it doesn't teach you anything. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that wisdom is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يُؤْتِي الْحِكْمَةُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He give wisdom, grant wisdom to whom He wills. And whoever He has been granted wisdom, He have certainly have received abundant of good. So wisdom is something, if you see, so wisdom is something, a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So nobody can claim I'm so wise because I'm so smart. No, you're so wise because Allah give you, this. And what Luqman did, how first Luqman demonstrated al-hikmah? He said, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنْ نُشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. So the key wisdom here, that whoever thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually thanking himself. He's thanking himself because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you thank me for the blessing I have given to you, I am going to give you more blessing. So in reality, who is benefiting then from thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You, not Allah, because Allah will give you more. And wherever you thank, the more you express gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more Allah subhanahu will give you. I'll tell you what, there is something we take for granted and we really do not realize until you see. If I tell you stand up, everybody will stand. It's so easy. We stand all the time. You get from the bed and stand. Have you ever thought about it? Who make you stand? Because I told you, so my wife had a stroke, and when she has a stroke, she cannot stand. Try even to move your foot, you're hard to move it. We do this for granted all the time. And, to get out of the bed, frankly, each time I try to get out of bed, looking at, recognizing what she has, I said, subhanAllah, how I turn myself and sit and put my feet in the ground and stand. How often we even thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this. And all what it is a minor things in your brain. And we take it for granted. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, be grateful for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He will maintain and give you more things. So, and that is the ultimate wisdom, frankly. You know, every time you do something, just think about it. Think of somebody, particularly if the doctor. Doctors see most cases how a person cannot do it, how a person cannot lift his hand. You know, and I told you about my brother, who's also has a stroke, and he's a professor in medical school and used to teach. Write a prescription, and if you give it to him back, he cannot read. You tell me how we can read our own. Where is this comes from? Do we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala each time I'm looking here and reading something, ability to read? So this is, that will be, we should be grateful for Allah subhanahu all the time for everything we have, because we have no control in it.
Based on the last one that you had, wisdom, line shakartum.
Yes, absolutely.
Remember that.
Yes.
Just another one.
Another expression of Luqman wisdom is the way he taught his son. I really wish we have been taught this way. The way Luqman have taught his son. The first one, he never gave commands to his son in the beginning. All what he started with, how to believe in one God and why He is one God. And you should worship Him alone. Then the next one, he told him attributes of that God. And the third one, when the son now recognizes who is God, or who is the one watching over everything, his attributes, he is a gentle, he is kind, he wants to protect you. The son himself said, how can I talk to him? Then he gave him the command to pray. But in addition to pray, you have also a social responsibility toward others. And then the end comes in and tell him, watch your character. Humility is the key. The way you walk, the way you speak, the way you act, by humility. So if you look at this, never start by the commands. Because start the first all that let the child wants to communicate with him. And that's how I'll go through it quickly, just because we talked about it so many times. The first one, he started teaching the shirk. He tell him, قال لقمان لابنه ويعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله الشرك لظلم عظيم. He told him that associating anything with God, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is a grave injustice. And injustice, nobody loves injustice. Even a child that doesn't love injustice. Zulm, nobody like it. It's natural instinct that we do. He comes in and says, why shirk is injustice? Then Allah created this heavens and the earth without, even a support that you can see. And He put in it all of the animals for us. And He created, water from the sky. He started teaching his child the creation of Allah. Why Allah, you can worshiping anybody beside Him or associating is grave injustice, because look at what He have done. How can you get somebody who didn't do anything, make him equal to him or make him, associated with? He took his son outside to see the creation of Allah. Then he comes and tell him, but then the question directly automatic, okay, Allah created this, but who is watching over it now? Then he comes and tell him, no, He is the one watching over everything. The next, تكن مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو يأتي بها الله أو يأتي بها إن الله لطيف خبير. Allah doesn't create and leave. No, He creates and controls and watches over everything, no matter how small it is. Even if a mustard seed, it's hidden somewhere, somebody hide it somewhere, Allah will know where it is. And then Allah is Latif. Allah is gentle, and knowing this. So the child automatically would say, well, that means if I do, Allah is watching me. He said, yeah, Allah is watching, but He's watching you to protect you. He's a gentle God. He's a kind God. He wants to ensure that you are safe. Then he comes in and tell him, okay, how can I speak to him? Pray. Go through the prayer. Now you can communicate with him through the prayer. وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ. That is the way. So can you think about it? You try, if you want to show, a friend of your father or something, and you keep talking about this great president of the country and and so on and what he does, and then just said, can I see? You can see him. You can talk to him by phone. So here is the child after he recognized first. Then when you come communicate with him, he will come and communicate. That is why if our children, if we were taught this way, don't force me to pray first until I know whom I'm praying to. Because I don't know, maybe you're different, but when it comes to prayer time, unless our Father forces us to do it or ask us to do it, we wouldn't do it. But frankly, if we would have known whom we are talking to, we would have run to it before even our Father have gone through the prayer. And be concentrated. Rather than make it an obligation, it becoming a privilege that, oh, Allah is the one allowing himself for me to speak to him. And that's why people consider it. And when the child, whatever that they always say, that teaching a child something is like engraving something on a rock, it doesn't go away. That concept is mind. And therefore he lives life this way. But unfortunately, we start the first one, pray, and force him to pray. And then comes in and said, oh, when now you communicate to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is controlling everything. You have also responsibility. Therefore, you have responsibility toward the other too. You have a social responsibility. وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَنْهَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. Then you have to really, now when you see your friends doing something wrong, advise them. If you see something good, tell them about it. And then, but remember that whenever you advise somebody to correct him, he's not going to like it. Therefore, you have to have basically patient. You have to have resolve. Be sure, don't get upset, because, okay, you guys don't listen to me. And that's it. Then he moves to the fourth step, is to shape his character, basically. And tell him, لا تصعر خدك للناس. And he said, shape humility, speak and so on. And he tell that he did it for Luqman. I mean, is it that difficult, frankly, for us, our education system, our children, to start with? Another part which is, I think, Luqman started with son teaching him no shirk. The shirk is injustice, and tell him why shirk is injustice. Then he moved to the describing who's Allah, then moved to describe, what is responsibility person, how you communicate to Allah, his social responsibility and his character. But how about teaching the child to honor his parent? Luqman didn't teach his son this part, to respect his parents and listen to them. Who taught them? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah inserted between Luqman his commands to the child. وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ son, if you teach him properly, it's natural. Allah subhanahu will make him respect and honor you. You don't have to tell him, I'm your father, you have listened to me, or your mother, tell him emphasis in the mother, because obviously the mother is the one who bears, the problem in the first stages when the child is not recognizing who's supporting him. The child that, when the child get like 4 or 5, his father take him out with him, buy him something, and so on, so he recognizes his father. But how about the mother, the early time of his life, when she bore, carried him for 9 months of suffering, delivering him, nursing him, waking up for him? He doesn't remember this. Who has remembered this? But you remember what your father did to you. Emphasized this. ووصلنا الإنسان بولده. He didn't focus on the mother. وحملته أمه وهنا على وهن فصلوا في. And then Allah comes and says, okay, I command you to have to respect your father and mother. But, you listen to them, but in certain areas, no. And this is if now they try to push you to do something major against my commands. And this is وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكْ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ علم. And then if they try now to force you to basically do something, to do shirk, don't listen to them. فَلَا تُطِعْهُمْ. لا تطعهم, don't obey them. But in that be angry from them? No. Don't cut your relationship with them, and then, basically be a good company with them. So, continue your relationship with them, but this part, don't listen. Don't obey them in it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala add something else. وَاتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ ثُمَّ إِلَيَّ مَرْجِعُكُمْ وَاتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ, and then follow the path of those who turn back to me. What it means that when a parent, a child, or a boy was sick, converted to Islam, and his parents want him to bring back to whatever religion they have in. That's what join in with the people who follow, who, like you, who do this for me. And that makes it, frankly, a responsibility of the community then. Because, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sabila man anaba ilayya, also, go with, follow the path of those who turn back to me, basically the believers. So if somebody convert, and his family under a lot of pressure from his family, whom does he go to? The people, the believers, who like him. So he needs support too. Because sometimes when somebody come to be Allahu Akbar and kiss him and hug him, brother, and so on, and that will be the end of it. There is no moral support. There is no, because now even his friends might not be longer his friends, so he will be isolated. So you need something in this regard. So, but even in this case, your relationship with parent has nothing. But if they try to force you and treat them nicely and kindly, if they try to force you to change, don't change. This surah also in Surah Al-Luqman. And this is because the most challenging part for most people is resurrection, and the judgment. Because if truly people believe in the day of judgment, there will have, at one point, they have to change. They be accountable. And the argument is, become dust and so on, will be recreated again. And therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasized this so many times. I created you from one nafs. I can raise you from one nafs. وَمَا خَلَقَكُمْ وَلَا بَعَثَكُمْ إِلَّا كَنَفْسٍ وَاحِدٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your creation and your resurrection is like by a single soul. So in that case, and then Allah comes and said, He started the khalq. He basically began the creation and He can repeat it. Which is difficult, to repeat something you have done already, or to start from the beginning. Allah, you are created in the beginning. Why you make it so? Do you think it's so difficult on me that I will recreate you again? And then, and then Allah subhanahu also this and said, give this, okay. Why you keep forgetting how you created? You keep saying that, okay, not you, but I mean, people keep come like bones and, basically decayed bones. Are we going to be resurrected again? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, well, same thing, emphasize He created that, the one who created in the beginning time, He can create it again in that regard. And then give always this example about plants. Because what is the actually even in the tombs of the Egyptian tombs, a seed that will become like 4,000 years or 5,000 years in the grave. I mean, you think it's dead seed now, but when they planted it, grow up again. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, listen, look at what's happening in front of you. ومن آياته أن ترى الأرض خاشعة فإذا أنزلنا عليها الماء اهتزت وربت إن الذي أحياها لمحيي الموتى إنه على كل. Look at this. You put a seed in the ground, you put water on it, it starts growing up, no matter how old. You think it's a dead seed. But that's how, why this is the correlation, the relationship with subhanahu wa ta'ala. He can also create you the same for the same thing. If you look at the people in life, and this is what we have. We see, people who are and boy, live so comfortably. They're so happy, they're wealthy, and so on. Apparently, you look at this way. And in the meantime, you might see also some people who also do not believe, I mean, if in a miserable life too, So you're getting the two groups here. And at the same time, you see it also for the believer, the righteous people. You see people who are living very comfortable life, and you see righteous people who are living, facing difficulties. So, but in this case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Al-Sajdah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, there is people who are disobey. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if we put them in hellfire, each time they want to come out, we'll put them back in again. Okay? People who defiantly disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their refuge will be in the hellfire. كلما أرادوا أن يخرجوا منها أعيدوا فيها. Any time they want to come out, they will be pushed back into it again. وقيل لهم ذوقوا عذاب النار التي كنتم به تكذبون, and tasted the fire in which you used to deny. Then Allah subhanahu give us something else. وَلَنُذِيقَنَّهُم مِّنَ الْعَذَابِ الْأَدْنَى دُونَ, and we will let them taste a nearer punishment in this life, before the bigger punishment, which is the hereafter, so they may return. So if you see somebody a disobedient and live miserable, this person have a chance. There's this in the family, loss of a job or something, he might come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this disobedience, that these things for him, Allah did not allow him to just to go astray. Allah wants to correct him. But there is other people, when now they disobey Allah, why Allah open everything for them? Open everything for them to allow them to transgress. One, what do you call it? Basically gradual enticement. Okay, you are going to hell anyway, so I'll let you do it, your way. And this is why فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-An'am, when they forgot what they have been, Allah subhanahu فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ, opened for them the doors for everything. Wealth, happiness, whatever it is, anything good. حَتَّى إِذَا فَرِحُوا بِهَا, until they become so happy with it, then we seize them suddenly. And and then they be in despair. So when you see somebody who is deviant, And this guy is in deep trouble because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically case to do more and more until he reach a point that there is nothing, no justification for him but to go to hellfire. Say, may Allah subhanahu, trying to guide him back to the straight path. The other verse is Surah Al-Ahzab. Brother Babar, did you pick any verses from that juz, by the way? Did you ever read it? So tell me this, because I know you're speaking, you speak group now, so everybody's here. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us في Surah Al-Ahzab, one of the lessons, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. That indeed, if you go to the hell, the day of judgment, comfortable with it, to feel I am now ready to do this, then you better take the Prophet ﷺ as the messenger, as your role model. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Allah, indeed, in the messenger Allah, we have a beautiful role model for you. Whoever hopes for Allah and the last day, and we said hopes for Allah and last day, that you're looking forward to meet Allah and the day of judgment. That means you deserve to do this. Then how are you going to do it? Take the Prophet ﷺ as a role model. How are you going to take the Prophet ﷺ as a role model? Learn his character. And we know what is the unique character of when Allah tried to praise the Prophet ﷺ and acknowledge him. He said, that you have the best moral character. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك اللهم لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك يا ربنا تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك. اللهم ادخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الجهل والوهم إلى نور العلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك وبطاعتك عن معصيتك وبفضلك عمن سواك. اللهم بفضلك ورحمتك أعلي كلمة الحق والدين. اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين يا أكرم الأكرمين. Oh Allah, spread your mercy upon us. Shower us with your blessings. Increase our knowledge, grant us forgiveness, and reward us with the company of the prophets in the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, purify our hearts, strengthen our faith, increase our knowledge, and make us benefit from what you have taught us. Oh Allah, forgive our parents and all our friends and relatives who have passed away. Oh Allah, make their graves garden from heaven and grant them the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, we have many of our friends and relatives who are sick. Oh Allah, grant to all of them full and speedy recovery. Oh Allah, guide our children, protect them, and make them righteous. Oh Allah, grant us the power and the ability that we may be grateful for the favors you have bestowed upon us and our parent, and that we may do righteous deeds that are pleasing to you. Oh Allah, we seek from you all of the good, whether we know it or we don't. And we seek your refuge from all evil, whether we know it or we don't. Oh Allah, we seek refuge in you from incapacity, from laziness, from fear, from greed, from poverty, and from the torment of the grave. Oh Allah, we have many of our brethren who are living under oppression and injustice. Oh Allah, heal their trauma, protect their helpless, and grant them lasting peace and prosperities. Oh Allah, we ask with every name you have elected for yourself, that none of us leave this gathering, but his pains have been relieved, his worries have been removed, his debts have been paid, his weaknesses have been concealed, his sins have been forgiven, and his needs have been fulfilled. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.